Okay, we'll have a moment of silent meditation and pledge to the flag. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll hereby call this meeting of the Monongalia County Commission to order. It is Wednesday, September 18th, 2024, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll let the record reflect that all three commissioners are present. First item on the agenda is consent and approval with our County Administrator, Renetta McClure. Good morning, Renetta.
Morning.
Morning. We have no exonerations to approve. Minutes from September 11th, 2024. Vouchers, General County Fund, $759,972.41. 911, $10,115.57. Chestnut Ridge Park, $2,080.50. Camp Monthly, $401.88. Mason-Dixon Park, $3,227.66. Mon County Center, $10,854.26. Transportation Levy, $714,358.26. Recreation Levy, $97,746.15. Library Levy, $175,340.70. EMS Levy, $1,522,404.70. Opioid Settlement Funds, $48,840.36. Parks and Recreation, $39,848.46. Purchasing Card Vouchers, General County, $14,825.29. 911, $2,644. Chestnut Ridge Park, $199.60. Camp Monthly, $445.62. Mason-Dixon Park, $497.80. Mon County Center, $984.38, for a voucher total of $3,404,787.60. We have, I'm going to pull the budget revisions to the end, if that's okay with you. Okay.
Sure.
Position vacancies for boards and authorities are listed on our website, and fiduciary orders for September 18th, 2024.
Okay, I have a motion to approve the consent and agenda items as presented.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 A couple corrections / clarifications for the budget revisions. The one that was for GIS is actually an in-house approval, so we're moving that down. And then we're removing the emergency management revision that was listed on the agenda.
Which could just occur via JV.
Correct. So we have state approval for the general fund for the prosecuting attorney, state grants and law enforcement, and in-house approval for the general fund for the GIS budget.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the budget items as presented?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. You also have the hearing on administrative closure of estates this morning. I believe there's 65 estates on the current list that are due to be closed.
Okay. So the first item is, do we have any objections to any of those items listed on the closure?
Well, you have two noted objections. One was from Wendy Thomas on the Sally S. Thomas estate. And the other one is something that was sent up to us yesterday from the fiduciary office for the Robert Lee Pyle estate.
Okay.
So I'm not sure which one you want to.
Representatives from both of those.
Yeah, Ms.
objections
Thomas,
here.
you want to come up and,
Yeah.
good morning, Wendy.
Morning.
Hey, Wendy.
Good morning. I thought I was off the hook. I did file my objection and follow with the statute and the procedures so far. I did speak with Taylor the other day, and she confirmed with me we are in compliance and that estate has been removed from the list. But if you would like to hear my objection again, or if
No,
you'd
it's-
like to
No.
confirm with the clerk's
No.
office, whatever needs to be done, I will
It's been
hear
confirmed.
That's
to be
fine.
compliant.
If it's been removed, then it's
Yes, we'll save the
not
time.
part of our administrative closure action, so.
Thank you
Second.
very
Thank
much.
you.
Consistent,
Thank you.
Taylor, with your, give us the nod? Okay. Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Okay, the other one is the Robert Lee Pyle estate, which I believe has been on the list before.
Right. They have Vader Giggenbach here for the
Yeah.
petition.
Thank you, Commissioners. I've been before you a couple of other times over the years on this particular estate. And just briefly, Mr. Pyle when he passed in 2017, 2018. Left everything to 2 daughters to split 50-50. There are about 7 houses, and based on the appraisement that was filed, about $300,000 worth of personal property. It's about $1 million estate. The 2 sisters don't agree on the time of day. We've gotten nowhere with negotiations to try to resolve it. I think this may be the 3rd time it's come up for administrative closure, and this is probably my 3rd objection. I filed a written letter yesterday, and I can tell you this case probably ends up in litigation. Even if you do close it, I'm going to come back, ask the circuit court to reopen it. I think it just needs to stay open. So that's the first issue. The second issue is the notice or order that's online with the clerk's office for this estate. I read it to show that this body, this commission, can take action to remove Stacy Uphold as the executrix, as the father named the sister that's not my client. I have the other sister, Julie Nicholson. Ed Rollo has the sister who's named the executrix. She's distributed none of the assets, and it's been many years now. Again, his death was in 17 or 18. So I would request today that she be removed and that Julie Nicholson be appointed as the would-be administrator of the estate. In the will, the father only named this other daughter, didn't provide for a successor, and he also only said that there's no bond for that daughter. You know, the will, a better will would have been having a successor in case the first one couldn't serve, and saying that that sister doesn't have to serve with bond. So the issue for you legally is, can you appoint my client as the administrator? First of all, certainly you can remove the current administrator. There's no question about that. But can you appoint my client and have her serve without giving bond? I leave that to you, but that's our request.
Would your client agree to serving the bond?
She does not want to put up the expense for the bond because she just doesn't have it. This other sister's the one in possession of all the rentals. We've gotten no rental money from her, no distribution of assets.
Yes, you have.
Okay, so somebody else can speak when it's their turn. That's what Mrs. Nicholson's telling me. So our request is simple. Leave it open and remove Ms. Uphold and appoint Ms. Nicholson without bond.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
And we have somebody else who would like to talk on this matter?
I think we need to have here, since
If
she's
you'd like
the-
to address this, please just state your name and
Stacy or Uphold.
Your address.
I'm sorry. I'm the executor of the estate of Robert Pyle. I just filed all the paperwork today. I was misrepresented by my attorney. I thought things were being handled. I had miscommunication. So it fell on my negligence and the lack of. I have turned all the financials in. I have distributed funding. She has received $70,000 in distribution, and it's on file downstairs.
that was filed today.
Yes, I just put it in there today. I wasn't, again, I thought that things were being handled and they weren't, so that was my fault. But I don't feel as though that I should be removed. I am capable of doing this position. It's just, I'm trying to work with my sister and be cooperative as possible and as fair as possible and do the things that my father would instilled upon me to do. But when you have no cooperation and somebody's wanting more than what's on the stated will, makes it hard and frustrating because they think that they deserve 60 and you should get 40 when it simply states 50-50. But I am capable of doing this position. I have been taking care of these properties and working and putting my time, personal time, and not being paid by the estate either. I do it all. There is no help other than myself. So
Well, thank you, Ms. Nichols.
I'm
So,
Miss
yeah,
Uphold.
I'm sorry, Ms. Uphold. I
Nicholson's
apologize.
the other, yeah.
So the first issue is we have the administrative closures. So I would entertain a motion from the commission to approve the administrative
Wait a minute. Hold on,
closures list.
Hold on just a second.
Sorry.
You need to find out if there's anybody else here that has an objection to the list.
Okay. Is there? I thought we already asked that.
That's okay.
So
Okay.
there's another estate.
Okay. So let's get through the administrative closure list first.
Then we
So-
can do each individually.
Thank you, ma'am. We're going to talk about somebody else, and then we're going to make the decision on the administrative closure list and whether to leave these estates off or not. And then we'll also take up your treasurer issue.
Okay.
Thank
If
you.
that makes sense. Okay, sir?
Yeah, my name's Fred Parenti. My mother passed away in 2019.
In the name of the estate, sir?
Be Edith Virginia Ruth Parenti.
Okay,
Estate.
thank you.
And I'm here to object. I don't want it closed just yet because when we meet through Mr. Armstead, which we did last week, the fiduciary commissioner, the objections I have as we go through them. My sister's the executrix. She agrees then to put back money that she's spent out of the estate account. So she's already put back some of the funds that she spent. There's more funds that's due to be reimbursed to this estate account before you distribution of 4 ways. That's what my mother wanted in her will. 4 children, split it equally 4 ways. And so until we get that kind of ironed out and go through these items and say, okay, yeah, you know, this expense should be duly charged to the estate account, or some of these fees that I've paid for lawyer services and attorney fees shouldn't be included, and they got to be deducted and they got to be reimbursed. So that's where I am. I'm going through a list of objections with the money amounts. And when we can come to an agreement, and we, you know, I got 5 or 6 line items, and the agreement we made with Mr. Armstead when the first issue was about attorney fees. And attorney fees should only apply to the estate of my mother. Shouldn't apply for any personal affairs, just the estate of my mother, which was agreed upon. My sister said she would reimburse, but they didn't want to run it through the filing. They didn't want to run it through the formal declaration for the accounting, final accounting of the estate. I can't agree to that. You gotta, all this has gotta go back and listed as part of the estate to make the distribution. So you gotta call time out. And then I was presented with a form that I would waive all my right to any kind of formal accounting of the estate. And I can't sign off on that until we do the math and see that it's all correct. And if there's any reimbursements that's got to be made to the estate, it's got to be listed as such, included in that amount, filed with you people, and then, you know, accepted. I think that's the only right way to do it.
If I could
And so
ask,
that's why I object to the closing of it.
what was the nature of the hearing with Commissioner Armstead last week?
It was about the final accounting that's submitted to the county
I
for
can
the
confirm
estate.
They did meet in here last week.
Okay. And so a final itemized accounting was presented. What you're talking about, the waiver, is called a waiver of final settlement. You can close an estate with a waiver of final settlement or a first and final settlement. The first and final is the full listing of everything, which is what you conceivably are asking for. You're absolutely correct. You're not required to sign a waiver in any way, shape, or form. You're entitled to ask for a final full accounting. And that has been presented, is that right? And
My sister, and I asked for, when I met the probate officer Monday, and she said she sent it back. I have a copy of what she had filed with the county, and that's what I went through and made my objections based on that.
And that's what the hearing with
Account-
Commissioner Armstead was
exactly.
about, your objections. Did
Exactly.
Commissioner Armstead make any type of ruling as a result of that hearing? Or
No.
are you still
I don't
waiting
believe
on
No.
it?
So
No.
we'll need to wait on his
Right,
recommendation.
okay. I think you presented probably, at least in my mind, enough evidence, so
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
All right, thank you, sir.
I appreciate it.
Is there anybody else?
Do we have any other objections to administrative closure? Sir?
Please, come on up, state your name and address. Sorry, Sean, I don't mean to step over you.
And Renetta, you have those 2 names so far, right?
Yeah, I've got Parenti.
Good morning, sir.
Kinda. My name is Malcolm Nowlin. My mother died in 2005. February the 3rd, 2021.
What was her name, sir?
Her name was Gloria Nowlin. Gloria,
Can you spell that last name for me? I'm not,
Nowlin.
thank you.
Okay.
Just like it sounds. Okay.
Right. I really, and like I've been talking to these people back here, I'm really in the dark about all of this. I don't really know. She died at the nursing home, and I don't, and we was just in Morgantown at the time, renting an apartment. We lived up on Price Street. What does it mean by closing her estate, and what does it mean by keeping it open? I mean, I don't know. I don't know really what. This is my first time ever being in here, and
So the criteria for being on the administrative closure list it's called non-progress estates, and that's if nothing's happened on that state in the past 12 months.
9 months?
Well, I spoke with him yesterday and I explained everything. But they're on the list if they haven't been any progress in the last 3 years.
Yep.
So we have open claims on this estate, or he can file a annual accounting to keep it open. That's his two options.
He just needs to do some filing. An annual accounting needs to be filed according to the notes that they provided. The claims need to be released that have been filed against the estate, and settlement or an annual accounting needs to be filed.
Okay.
So those are the requirements that need to be met.
Okay.
so what they want me to do? What, pay her bills or something like that, or what?
No,
what-
there's been official claims filed against your mother's estate, meaning that there's debts that need to be paid. And so you need to do the releases on those, to release those claims, meaning pay them.
Right, and then.
Am I speaking out of turn? That's
No, and I
correct?
explained this all to him yesterday too.
Okay,
He
so,
understands.
So I see the first, I'm looking at the appraisement of your late mother's estate, and it looks like the only asset, probatable asset, was a home in Fairmont. Is that correct, or a parcel of property?
Our home, our home, yeah, our home.
Right, 118 Pine Street in Fairmont.
Right.
Has that
that's-
home been sold, or,
No, I own it.
okay. Okay, so the action that would be required to be taken is either in some way to object to the claims and then have a hearing if they're valid, or if you have enough assets in the estate to pay those claims, or to pay the claims, make some kind of arrangement to pay them in order to close the estate. Because right now, there's technically claims against the estate that need dealt with in some way or another, and the action that puts you on the administrative closure list is because no action's been taken on those claims. Nothing's happened on the estate since you filed the initial paperwork. So,
So basically, let me get this, because I'm trying to, because of my mom's, hospital bill or something like that, whatever, I think, and a nursing home bill, they trying to take the property? Is that where I'm getting at?
we're not privy to what claims have been filed on your late mother's estate.
See, this is where I'm in the dark at. Like what? Okay, they want me to set up because, like I said, okay, let me give you a little bit of brief history into my life. Okay, right now, I'm just like I was telling her, I'm just a simple janitor. Okay, I work for Patton Building Supplies. I clean lawyers' offices. I only make probably about like $13.25 an hour. I'm renting an apartment. That's $700. I'm also got car insurance and everything else to go on. So I'm being squeezed like an anaconda here, and I mean, I'm in the process right now of putting a tombstone on my mother's grave. So now this hit me, which I have no problem about it. I mean, I just don't. This is my own. This is the reason why I'm here, The reason why I'm here is I don't want no one to be crept upon me and saying, hey, Malcolm, guess what? Yeah, we're taking your mother's land from, because I'm her only child, and that's my inheritance.
Can I ask you one thing, sir? You
Yeah.
say the creditors are attempting to take your land. Has there been any?
No, I never said that. I was saying I don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
It would seem to me, and I'm not giving you legal advice here, but it would seem to me that closing this estate conceivably would not be detrimental to your interest necessarily. I would think the creditors would have more of an objection to closing the estate than would you. That's just from an outside abstract view looking in. I don't know that for sure, but the only thing that hasn't been done on the estate is a final accounting by you, and that's the item that basically would happen with closing the estate. So,
All right, so I'll close it.
but I'm not
I mean,
Well,
saying what to be
let me
done.
be clear.
Yeah.
So the claims against the estate, if the estate is administratively closed, and you're right, those creditors have a right to object. But if it were to be administratively closed, then those creditors would have to seek other means to
They would have
come after.
to, eventually the state would have to be reopened in order to go to have those
To get the
paid.
to abstract and go after those.
Yes.
those
And
claims.
those claims become a lien on the property.
Essentially, for a period of time, it's my understanding.
Do you
Yes.
have a clue how many claims have been filed and how much?
There's 4, one's been released, I think the other 3 total up to be less than 5,000, but
Yeah.
more than 4,000.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Do you have enough to make a decision on that one?
I personally do, yes.
Okay. Do you guys feel? So whatever your motion
We'll decide
is,
each one individually.
do you have enough information from him at this point?
Yeah.
I think
To be able
so.
to proceed?
Right.
Well, it depends on what your motion is.
Right,
but,
yeah, well, I can make a motion, it can be voted on, I mean, or
Okay.
Tom can, or Sean can.
All right, you can sit down.
Okay.
all right, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you, thank you.
Is there anybody else?
Anyone else that would like to speak in regards to any objections to the estates that are on this administrative closure list? Okay, hearing none, I entertain a motion.
Okay, on the, we just want to handle each
Yes.
three estates singularly first before we make the motion.
I would
on
be
the-
more comfortable. in
Sure.
For me, on the Gloria Nowlin estate, I personally see no reason to keep the estate open. There doesn't seem to be anything left to be done from the executor's perspective. And I would make a motion to leave that one on the administrative closure list.
I'll second that.
Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay,
Okay, so that one's staying on the list?
yes.
Yes.
Okay. So you have Parenti, Pyle, and Thomas. Well, Pyle technically has already been removed.
Pile's already been removed.
Yes.
And you verified it.
What? I can't hear. Are you?
I'm sorry, not Pyle,
sorry.
Thomas.
Thomas has been removed.
Sorry.
Thomas has been removed.
I just want to say thank you.
You're welcome, sir. You're quite welcome, sir.
And I'm blanking right now, Parenti, what was,
So Parenti, Pyle, those are the two that you still need to deal with.
right,
Okay, so in the matter of the estate, the Parenti estate, what's the,
That's the one you're waiting on a recommendation from Fiduciary Commissioner
right,
Armistead.
yeah,
Correct.
that's right. Based upon waiting for there's been a hearing from the fiduciary commissioner based upon not having that ruling yet, I would recommend that we remove that from the administrative closure list pending the review
I
of that
second, I
ruling.
agree.
okay, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, and then the last one is the Robert Pyle.
The
Sorry.
estate of Robert Pyle.
Yeah.
I'm struggling with this one a little bit. I've got an issue with, I understand there's been paperwork filed today, but we're going back to 2018, and I've got 6 different notices from the clerk, at least 6, from the clerk to the administrator, asking for delinquent filings over and over. We've twice removed this from the closure list based upon proffers from the other siblings, so,
Can you confirm with the clerk's office that things have been
yeah,
filed?
that's what I was about to.
But is-
Have there been, was there an accounting filed this morning, Taylor?
Yeah,
Okay.
But you haven't had time to review it yet.
no.
Okay, but the
Okay.
question at hand is whether it should be moved from the administrative closure list, and we
Yeah.
have both parties requesting that.
That it be removed from it. And I would
Yes.
say, based on the information that there have been filings today, I would make a motion to remove it from the
I
administrative
agree.
closure list.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Now
Okay.
you have a petition.
Now the petition.
Yes.
On the petition, I would further state that without having the opportunity to review the filings, I think it would be premature to make a motion for removal at this time, or for, removal of the administrator at this time. I think we don't have that information in front of us.
I think you probably could set
Do you
some time
Yeah, do you want to
frames.
set some sort of
Yes.
sunset on that as far as?
I would.
What would be the next step to,
I would ask for a couple of weeks for us to review the information that's been filed before we make a decision on that petition.
Well, opposing counsel hasn't had time to review the filing
Exactly,
either,
yeah.
so,
Maybe
4
30
weeks?
30 days,
30 days.
four meetings from now, 3 meetings from now.
I haven't seen the accounting, but maybe once I review it and speak to my client, we'll withdraw the request. I
Right.
don't know. I have to see the information.
I would move that we table that request until we've had 30 days to review the
Accurate.
filings as the petitioner and the respondent, so they would have time as well.
I second that. That's, give 30
okay,
days.
and just to be clear, as far as Robert's rules and everything, I would probably, that move should be that we just take no action.
Right.
Okay, so you.
but you could, can you set a 30-day time limit in your
Yes,
motion?
we take no action.
And then make a
at this
motion.
point. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, no, you're right. We take no action, and then we'll pick it up in 30 days. We don't have to take a formal action on that, it's just,
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
great.
All right.
Now we have to move, I move that we approve the administrative closure list for the rest of the
Estates that
the rest of
remain.
the estates that remain open that, without sufficient action.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right,
Thanks for bearing with us on that.
thank you
You
for
good?
everyone
Okay.
for helping to maneuver those
Thank you,
waters.
Taylor, for coming up.
Just clarification.
Yep.
On the motion before, we all agree, but I don't think we officially.
There was no motion, there's.
We decided
took-
not to
Oh,
Take
no
no
action. Okay.
We wanted to
Take no action.
table it and.
Right,
Okay, got it.
Okay.
great.
Okay,
Well,
Thank
I
you.
mean, technically, you could make a motion to give a 30-day time frame and vote on that.
That's what I thought we were going to do, yeah.
But do we have to, or we can just pick it up in 30 days, I guess, to put it on the
I mean,
agenda?
if that's your official order that needs to be communicated to the parties.
I would like to have
Yeah.
the, move to have 30
Yeah.
days to be
Second.
reviewed. Yeah.
I'll second the motion.
That is the Robert Pyle estate.
Yes.
Right.
all those
John,
in
you got
fa-
that? I got it. Okay.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Yes.
Thank you, Tom.
All right. Any other fiduciary items?
No, please, thank you. Let's
Okay.
move on.
Introduction of new employees, personnel changes?
None.
There's none. Okay. Next item on the agenda is comments from the public. We will now open the comments from the public session of meeting. Anybody wishing to be heard, please come forward, state your name, and be heard. Good morning.
Morning.
This is super quick. Just want to let you guys know, sitting in the back,
Point-
it's
Just
really
point of order, if
difficult.
you could.
Oh,
I know we
sorry.
know who you are,
You
but
know
you can
who I
state
am.
your name
Sorry.
and address,
Yep,
please.
Mary Ann Foles, 828 Bloody Run Road.
Thank you.
And I just wanted to let you guys know that it's difficult to hear in the back when you're talking, so I don't know if you can, we can hear Renetta, but it's real difficult to hear you guys if you want to figure a way to make it a little louder.
She's saying you're loud.
Thank you. No, I did not say that.
Sorry.
I said she has better microphone skills, that's what I said.
Well, our sound guys will duly note your request. Thank
Okay.
you.
Move my microphone.
Anyone else? Okay, go ahead and close the public comment session of the meeting. Next item on the agenda is a proclamation for Constitution Week. Do we have someone presenting that?
From the Daughters of the American Revolution. I believe.
I'm Rebecca Davis with the Colonel's Aqua Morgan chapter, and Brenda Fisher with the Hagen's Evans chapter, and Brenda will read the proclamation.
Good morning.
Morning.
Whereas it is the privilege and duty of the American people to commemorate the 237th anniversary of the drafting of the Constitution of the United States of America with appropriate ceremonies and activities. And whereas Public Law 915 guarantees the issuing of a proclamation each year by the President of the United States of America designating September 17th through the 23rd as Constitution Week. Now, therefore, we, the members of the Monongalia County Commission, by virtue of the authority vested in us, do hereby proclaim the week of September 17th through the 23rd as Constitution Week, and urge all citizens to study the Constitution and reflect on the privilege of being an American with all the rights and responsibilities which that privilege involves.
Great.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the resolution as presented, a proclamation as presented?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Thank you.
Aye.
Would you like
you.
to come up for a photograph?
Would you like a photo with the proclamation?
Can someone take one?
Sure.
I'm sure we can arrange that.
Turning it up too high now because I'm getting reverb.
Yeah, me too. I got.
No one's had a
I think it was me. I was
He's
right up
gonna
next to
go.
it.
You get in the middle there. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
for
you so
doing
much.
that.
Thank you so much.
And I am going to announce, thank you, about
Thank
4
you.
o'clock yesterday.
Okay. I wish we could get more people there.
I know.
It's so important. Real important.
I agree.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is grants. Colleen Kuhn, our Commission Office Manager. Good morning.
Good
Morning.
I have requests for reimbursements. The first one is for the Saukey Purpose Area 1 grant, and it's in the amount of $24,042.28. The next one is the Saukey Purpose Area 3 grant in the amount of $14,295.15. Governor's Highway Safety Program, Safe Communities in the amount of $3,735. And impaired driving in the amount of $2,477.99.
Move to approve the president signing the grant documents as presented.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, correspondence. Contribution requests from the Arts Council of Greater Morgantown.
They are requesting a $1,000 contribution towards the WVU Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion's International Street Festival. I guess Visit Mountaineer Country CVB is contributing $1,000, and they've asked to government entities and local businesses for $1,000 match money.
Okay. I'll just note that and put it on staff reports.
Put on staff reports.
Okay. Application for Orphan Road Grant Funding, Alpine Street, Morgantown.
Finally.
Derek Jackson has submitted an application for the Orphan Road grant funding for Alpine Street, which is, you'll have to explain where it's at. I don't know.
North Hill's just passed off of
Riddle,
Pine
around Riddle
View,
area.
Oh, Pineview, that's right.
over the hump and on the left.
It says funding requested up to $85,000, but at least $82,000.
Okay.
Okay.
This is one we've talked about a number of times. So
Yes.
now that we have the actual application in our folder, I assume we'll look at it and make a future decision.
Right, I'd ask that we talk about that at staff reports as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Letter received from Assessor Mark Music regarding tax tickets issued with zero value.
How do you guys, I don't know, do you want me to read it? Do you want to?
Yeah, I think it
Yeah, if
needs to
you'd
be read.
read the letter and
Okay.
then,
This letter is a follow-up to the work session that was held on Wednesday, August 28th with the County Commission, Sheriff's Tax Office, and the Assessor's Office. The information I and my staff presented was regarding minerals, oil, and gas specifically, and an issue with taxpayers receiving tickets with zero taxes owed, as pointed out in a phone call from a taxpayer. After investigating the matter, the Assessor's Office found that the minimal value assessment did not get pushed through. A call was made to the West Virginia State Tax Department to present the problem, and through that conversation, the outcome was there was nothing to indicate where the error occurred. My staff then continued to see how many other tickets may have been affected. Ms. Kelly Palmer, Chief Tax Deputy, had a staff member run a report that showed there would be 8,027 tax tickets showing up with a $0 amount. Ms. Palmer had presented the approximate cost of what it would take to reissue those tickets with an average tax due amount of $2.06. Ms. Palmer has put together information requested by the commission to show what the cost would be to process those tickets with the amount owed. A detailed list attached was broken out, and a final amount shows that the county would lose approximately $21,918.39. Assessor's office is working on developing a process in which we may be able to check for those types of errors in the future. Based on the amount of money, time, and manpower it would take to complete the task, the recommendation is to take no corrective action.
Okay. So we'll take that under advisement. Obviously, the biggest thing that rings out from the letter is there's really no apparent understanding of what's causing this, so it may continue to happen. So I'd at least like for us to reach out to the state and get some verification or explanation or accounting from them as far as why this problem's happening and how they're taking steps to avoid it happening in the future. And then at some later date we will take an action regarding the request, whether to push those tax statements out or whether to forego that process.
So just for your information, they've estimated the cost to reissue those tickets was $38,614.55. They would only be collecting, and that's if 100% was collected,
Yeah.
$16,696.16. So
Yes.
that's where they're coming up with the $21,918.
Yeah, and it's-
Would be a loss to
Yes,
reissue those tickets.
It makes sense, but I want the public to know that we're going to at least do our due diligence to make sure that the root cause of this problem is addressed,
Is
so we
solved,
don't
yeah.
keep doing this.
Yeah.
So we'll, you guys are in agreement?
Yes.
We'll send that letter, and then we'll address this in a future meeting.
As we get the response from the
Yes,
state.
absolutely.
Okay?
Right.
All right. Any others?
Two. Planning Commission met last week and approved a application for a map amendment. I've received a copy of all of the material. I haven't gone through it all yet, but you will need to set a public hearing in order for you all to take this up as well. So I'd like the chance, at least until next week, I can come back with some dates
Right.
for setting the public hearing, but I wanted you to know that we did receive the application.
Perfectly reasonable.
Perfect.
Okay.
The last thing I have is a letter from Mr. Music that I received on the 16th. It's regarding his office staff in the UMWA. Would you like me to read that?
Yes, please.
Okay. I'm writing this letter to you as it relates to the Assessor's Office staff and the UMWA and share with you a decision on the matter at hand. I have reviewed the Commission meeting from June 12th, 2024, and took into consideration what the Commission stated at that time. I wanted to inform the Commission that there will be a vote by the staff on Thursday, September 26th. This will not interfere with working hours. I wanted to let you know out of respect for the Commission and to keep you up to date with the situation.
Okay. Any other correspondence?
No, that's all I have.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is unfinished business. There's none. New business. Consideration to approve a recommendation for an award in response to RFP number 2024 MCC 004 for providing HVAC system support services. I think I need to provide an update from the committee, which includes our administrator and our facilities director and myself as far as the process, and then you guys we'll go ahead and entertain a motion. So, as I explained last week, this responses were opened up on 8/14/24. At that time, we just verified that there were separate technical and cost proposals. We received responses from A. Durer Incorporated, or ADI, Casto Technical Services, and MCOR Services. Technical evaluations of all three offers were conducted and completed on 9/6/24, and all the scores were compiled. Cost offers were opened in our public meeting last week and sent off for cost reasonableness evaluation. That process was completed, and the cost and technical scores were weighted, and at the end of the process, it is our overall apparent successful offer would be, at this moment, appears to be MCOR Services. They were determined to be the overall best value in terms of their documented technical and offered technical clearance and offered pricing. So the recommendation is to make an award to MCOR Services based on their proposal to provide HVAC support services.
Would make a motion to approve the awarding of the agreement, the contract to MCOR for the HVAC
Second.
servicing.
Okay. As far as additional discussion, that RFP called for a corollary agreement to be set, once we had a successful offer, a corollary agreement to be set up for as needed as needed support. So this agreement is for the preventative maintenance for all of our HVAC systems. And then if we need service outside of that, we're going to set up an agreement with the successful offer to have both of those agreements in place at the same time. So after we take this motion, I think we need a corollary motion to permit the staff to negotiate a agreement with MCOR also for as-needed support and set those rates so that we have that service available. So, but anyhow, we have the motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Make a motion to authorize staff to make an agreement with the provider for the as-needed support going forward.
Okay.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Consideration to approve an appointment to the Pleasant Valley Public Service District.
We've had that listed on our website for a few weeks now. Haven't received any other applicants, but the current member, Margaret Batten, has wished, she has put in her notice that she wants to be reappointed. So this would be a 6-year term.
Okay.
Move to approve Margaret Batten reappoint Margaret Batten to the Pleasant Valley Public Service District.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Consideration to approve an appointment to the Mason-Dixon Historical Park Advisory Board.
Got an application from Miss Wendy Bloom, and she is interested in being appointed. I did check with the park superintendent, Angela, and they can allow up to 7 members of that board. Typically, we don't have that many, but
We have a couple
can-
open
yeah.
positions. Okay.
I would move to approve Mrs. Wendy Bloom as on the board at Mason-Dixon Historical Park.
Okay, and I'll go ahead and second that motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I abstain.
Okay, and Commissioner Bloom
I had
abstains
nothing
from
to
that
do with
vote. And I am the commissioner that sits
Yes.
on that advisory board, and I'm more than happy to have people interested to serve. And so I welcome. I work with Tom during the day, and I guess for once a quarter I'll work with his wife. So I'm happy to have her. So. To consider approval of funding up to $5,000 for support of the West Virginia Black Bears Outreach Program.
I would move to approve for the funding of $5,000. This comes from our fund, our ballpark fund that we fund organizations like this and events like
Second.
Okay. And just a little description of what this is the Black Bears work in partnership with United Way and Mountaineer Food Bank to raise awareness for the organizations through donations of tickets, merchandise, food drive, and monetary donations. And as Commissioner Arnett mentioned, we have a fund set up. I don't know what we loosely call it. It's the Monongalia County Ballpark Community Events Fund, but
That's pretty much it.
that's what this fund was set up for, is to encourage events and participation in events that occur at the Monongalia County Ballpark. So we have a first and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Do we have any other agenda items?
Nope.
Okay. Reports from elected officials and/or department supervisors. Okay, seeing none. Reports from county commissioners. Tom?
Yeah, yesterday at 4 o'clock, we rang the bells for Constitutional Day, and several people came up to me afterwards and said, would we consider ringing it on an hourly basis, just like the clock? And I said, I don't know, I've never been asked that, so I'm going to ask, we discuss that in session. Yeah, with the fillet. I have no idea.
I don't think our current configuration allows for like an automatic ring,
Yeah,
but
I don't know.
I
if
don't
there's
think so
some-
either, but I didn't want to give it
somebody up to the bell tower
to ring
every
it,
hour,
and I
so-
didn't want them, yes.
But we'll certainly have our facilities director.
We'll
address
look at
that
it.
request.
Yeah.
Good
Well, we
job
can
for-
alternate.
Good job for John. He's always.
Yeah, we could alternate that. Okay.
There's stuff to do.
Second thing, with Youth Services Center board meeting, and unfortunately, we serve 8 students per day, but we have the luxury, if I would say, that we have 2 additional beds. And unfortunately, in the last several months, we're serving 10 individuals per day there, and that's not a good sign. So we're a little concerned about the increase in the use of individuals who are not being able to stay in their homes. And the final thing was, we've had multiple meetings. First Foundation sent out its first tranche of $3.2 million for our region. They set up 4 criteria. Unfortunately, the state is good at setting up criteria and then putting small print and not understanding what they did. So the meeting was Aspire, West Virginia Sober Living, Lawrence Wish, MCR, City, County, and WVU Grant Program. And the question and area we were looking at is transitional recovery housing / current certified operators. But transitional doesn't have certification, recovery does. So the question we are asking in Aspire is requesting, can we still apply for transitional funds to fix a number of rooms in Hazel's House of Hope? No one could answer that question, so there is a process by Friday to ask that question. So that's where we're at. So if anyone's wondering where we are on it, we've been meeting, we're ready to move forward. We just want to make sure it meets their criteria. And that's it.
Just a couple of things. First off, I'd like to thank all the extra efforts from our local police, every branch, and our 911 office for all the school threats from last week. They moved very methodically and very quickly to assess all the threats and to make sure our kids were safe in schools. And I know it's a major disruption in their normal day-to-day, but it's what they do, and they're very good at it, and we appreciate all those extra efforts. Also, there's been some progress made on negotiations between the contractor building the bridge across the Mon and the Rails Conservancy, the Rails for Trails. So there will be some efforts made for remediation for any damage done to the trail and some compensation that will go for the loss of use of that trail during the time of construction. So those are still ongoing, but it is something that's going to happen. So that's all I've got.
It's positive.
Yep.
Okay, since our last meeting, last Thursday, the MAP Executive Committee meeting, the Red Team meeting, and Development Authority. On Friday, we had staff reports and a meeting with the Comcast team regarding our broadband project. So we're coming up close on our first quarterly report, so we should be, that they're under contract to provide as far as status, so we'll start being able to start providing those. We'll log them in correspondence, but we'll actually start having formal reports. So that process is starting to move along. Today's a regular day. We have a couple work sessions. Tomorrow in the afternoon, I have WV Corp board meeting. And then on Friday, I also have WV Corp board meetings at the Stonewall Resort in Roanoke, West Virginia. Other than that, I don't really have anything else to report, so I'll
Move to
entertain a
adjourn.
motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
We adjourn.
Adjourn.